Hey guys, it's SG Retro here back with more Pokemon. This is maybe a long video. If it takes way too long, then I'm going to split it into two parts. But this is every single Pokemon team of 2021 and some of 2022. So it has all of Gen 6. I'm going to be truthful with y'all. I'm not a big fan of the old Pokemon games. It's not because I don't like the graphics. It's just that they're way harder and they have stuff like HMs, which you can see I played Gen 6 here, but I don't even have many old games because I've been buying the new games since I've started liking Pokemon because Gen 7, Gen 8, and now soon to be Gen 9. So I've had too much time to buy the other ones too, especially because Pokemon's not the only thing I play, so I have a lot of other time to be buying other games other than the older Pokemon games, so I can just wait for the new ones and reset my ones I already have. But I'm playing all. These are all the Gen 6 games, so X and Omega Ruby, all of Gen 7 except for Let's Go Pikachu, and all of Gen 8 except for Sword and Shield. You guys count the main game of whatever. Let's get into the first team. Pokemon X is my fourth playthrough of it ever. One of them was a Nuzlocke. My first Pokemon, I decided to pick Froakie, and he evolved into a pretty strong ninja named Akira, level 65 male. His moveset was Night Slash thanks to Heart Scales. I think that's what they're called. Surf, for surfing, and it's a pretty good strong water move. Ice Beam and Waterfall, another HM. I gave him an 8 out of 10. He's really good. It took a lot of time for Dark Stab until guys I can give him Night Slash. Way earlier they would have actually gotten him. I'm sure it was like level 70 or something. But he was pretty good otherwise. Like, whenever I needed just a decently strong Pokemon to just fight a random trainer, I would probably choose Greninja unless I needed another Pokemon to level up. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. So, I think that's all I have to really say about Greninja. He's just really decent. I love using Greninja. I've never beat the game without Greninja, which kind of sounds crazy, but it's true. I've played some playthroughs, but I don't think I've gotten even to Delphox. I've never used Chespin. So, yeah, Greninja's been my go-to. Next up, Mega Lucario, another one that I've never played a playthrough without. Metal Claw, which actually I don't remember using Metal Claw before, but I don't know. Sword Stance, Close Combat, and Bone Rush. Pretty decent moveset, especially with a lot of variety. 8 out of 10. Oh, I need to say Saturn. His name is Saturn. He's level 64 and he's male. I give him an 8 out of 10. He gets a O code way too often, but Metal Claws are useful against fairies because without that, it might seem like I had other defense mechanism, but offensive really mechanism. We'll talk about why I didn't in a moment. But he was really good. Like Mega Lucario's corpse is really strong. So just use of Pokemon that kind of was less bulky than I thought it would be. Let's get to our next Pokemon. Lucha, which I named Halo with 2 A's. Level 66 at the end, and she was female. I've never used a male Lucha. Every time I've caught one, the first one I found was always female. So she had Flying Press, which is a go-to for any Hulucha I ever use. U-Turn, High Jump Kick, and Aerial Ace, which are also go-to moves. U-Turn was just different. I don't always use U-Turn my Huluchas, but in this case I decided to. I gave her an 8.5 out of 10. High Jump Kick missing was annoying, but she could sweep random teams thanks to speed and strength. Every single time I use Hawlucha, I feel like she's either better than my starter or on the level of my starter. I love Hawlucha because every single time I use one, it's always an amazing Pokemon. 8.5 out of 10, definitely not the highest one's ever been ranked for me. I probably should mention how many times I've used each of these Pokemon. Greninja, 4 times. As you see, I've only used one when I've been playing Pokemon X, so 4 times how much times I've used it. Lucario, I can't say for certain. I'll say at least 7 times. I've used Lucario in every X playthrough, and I've used Lucario a lot. I already know what to say besides that. I've used him a lot. Can't even count. Especially because, he's my favorite Pokemon. He's available in a lot of games. Next up is Garchomp. I named him Charlie. Level 63. He's a little bit under my other Pokemon, but it's still fine. Male. Now, his moves were Dig, Dragon Rush, Dragon Claw, and Shell Claw. Dig was just a really decent move. The only thing that annoyed about it was that it took long, so Dragon Rush was like just a really good move if I didn't want to risk. I mean, if I was fine with risking power. I mean, some accuracy for some extra power. Dragon Claw was just a go-to move, and Shell Claw was a pretty good move for. Because I don't think I had any ghost type moves besides that. He gets a 9 out of 10. Literally swept 5 of the IFS team. Halucha took out 1, got knocked out, and Garchomp came in and murdered Diantha. The only reason I won't give the best member is because there was one Pokemon that was more consistent in Garchomp. I love using Garchomp. I'll give you a fun fact. And a little bit of sport. I've used Garchomp twice in these playthroughs. These are my first times ever using Garchomp. One, I'm not going to talk about the other one yet, but this one gave me so much love for Garchomp. So overpowered, so good. I can see why Cynthia used to as her main Pokemon. We'll talk about Cynthia later. Next up, Talonflame. Her name is Blaze. She's level 65 and she's female. Steel Wing, just a really decent steel type move, which I give almost all of my bird Pokemon. Flare Blitz, of course, you know how Flare Blitz works. Flare Blitz is Brave Bird. We talk about that once. Talonflame, I'm going to search up her stats real quick. Talonflame. So her attack isn't even that high. I mean, A1's pretty decent, but I guess her speed that just destroyed things. Really good. Now, you have A1 power, being able to use Stab, Flare Blitzes, Stab, Flame, Berry Burst going first, just decimated a lot of points. And then Fly, number 1 for flying, of course, and number 2, if I want to not do any damage to myself. Now, 10 out of 10, MVP. I don't know why, but in my first, this is my first time not using Charizard in the playthrough. Because in my first playthrough ever of X, also I have to tell you how I use Talonflame. Every time I played X, I think I've used Talonflame. Even if it died in my Nuzlocke, which I thought, yeah, it did die in no, I don't think I used it in my Nuzlocke, so probably 3 times I've used Talonflame. But, in my first playthrough of X, I used a Charizard and a Talonflame. And that sounds dumb, little 5 times. Back then, that was my second playthrough of a Pokemon game of all time. So I didn't care. There were 2 of my favorite Pokemon in that region. And Charizard used to be, one of my favorite Pokemon. So I consider both type overlapping like I do kind of a little bit now. So I just used them both. You literally serve the exact same role. But this Talonflame specifically, Blaze, amazing. I don't know why she was better than Halucha and Garchomp. Because usually, not really Garchomp, but Halucha, whenever I use her, she's always the MVP. Or at least second place. But she got 3rd place because of Garchomp and Talonflame. I'm not saying that you have to use Talonflame when you play, but I would compare Talonflame to a Star Raptor. If you play in college, you're probably using a Talonflame, unless you pick Charizard. Just, there's no better option for fire type between those two. Next up, we've done this is our 5th Pokemon, I think. We got Greninja, Halucha, Garchomp, Lucario. This is my 6th. We've got Mega Venusaur. Her name is Ashley, level 65 and female. First time using a Venusaur ever. She had Pebble Blizzard, Synthesis, Leech Seed, Solar Beam. 7 out of 10. Her moves were very repetitive. We have 4 grass type moves. One is a little bit different because it heals. Leech was just a decent move if I wanted to start just tanking with Mega Venusaur. Solar Beam was just, I don't know, I didn't need Solar Beam Pro, which I think I should have probably kept like a different grass type move. I didn't have any drawbacks, but like whatever. But the main problem is she needed a poison move. Now, like she was a 5 grass type. Like as a grass type, she was a 501. That's a Pokemon that I'm probably not going to use Venusaur. I mean, I might if I like intend on using Talonflame again. But it's just so hard to use. I don't know why, but I'm about to check. Like currently it doesn't learn any poison type moves. It learned Sludge Bomb, but I don't know where that was in Pokemon X. Maybe I missed a really important TM word. Because I feel like I used Sludge Bomb on my Venusaur before. Maybe I just didn't see it this time. But, like, man, not having a poison move kind of hurt. Because literally, if Lucario went down, I had nobody that could do super effective damage to poison fairy types. And those are her just being not very good at having a variable moveset made her the worst on the team, even though just her raw power gave her a 7 out of 10, which is not overrated as you'll see in just a minute. Team rating, 9 out of 10. There's a lot of great Pokemon. They can easily sweep people like Gramos, because, I mean, we got Talonflame, who sweeps the team very, very easily. But the main problem was fairies. Oh my goodness. Without Claw, fairies were a huge problem. Luckily, Lucario handled that. We also had a couple overlaps with flying and fighting types, thanks to Talonflame, Lucario, and Hawlucha. And I didn't care. I love each one so much, and they still did really good. And there's no type besides fairies that I felt like was literally crushing my team. So I'm okay with that. All these Pokemon I use at least once because I absolutely love them, and they're all my top 50 except maybe Venusaur, because that's my first time ever using it. But I know, food for thought, I need a poison type if I don't have Lucario, because Venusaur is not going to cut, because well, in this way too at least, cannot do anything to them. But let's get to the next game. Pokemon Black Ruby, surprisingly, is only my second playthrough ever. Maybe third, I'm not sure. It's either second or third, but I feel like it could possibly be third, but I don't remember playing it 2 times. So this is my first playthrough of Omega Ruby since I first got it. And I first got it when I was probably around 11, 10. And I finished it when I was 13 for the second time. But you're going to see why this is only the second playthrough ever in just a second. First, we got Mega Sceptile. His name was Blade, referencing one YouTuber. I don't know if I should say their name or not. Very cool. If you know who they are, you don't need to check them out. So, because you already know who they are. But Blade, level 55, male. His moveset was Leaf Blade, X Scissor, Dual Chop, and Earthquake. 7 out of 10. Like, he carried out at the beginning. Like, at the beginning of the game, literally, like, so my team was mostly under level most of the game. I was literally just using Sceptile for, like, more Grovyle. I was using Grovyle for anything major. I literally used it to beat most of Flaree's team, because by that point he was actually kind of a little bit over leveled. You know, he kind of got with the program later on in the game. And when he wasn't over leveled, didn't use him that much. I'll be honest with you. But next up, Mega Latios. His name was Jet. Level 51. He was male. His moveset. Also, I don't use legendaries too much, but in this case, my team was just so hard to use that I had to use Latios, or I would not have beat Steven. We'll talk about Steven later, though. His moveset was literally like HM Slave 2.0. Dive, Waterfall, Sidekick, and Dragon Breath. You can see his main purpose. But also Psychic, he was most, I'll give him 7.5 out of 10. Mostly the HM Slave, but as a team member, he was actually pretty decent. He wasn't the best, especially because you could see his level wasn't too high. But, I mean, he's usually not legendary. Would you expect him to be high garbage? No. We'll get to hard garbage for one later. Next up, we have Swellow. Her name was Clover. I don't remember why. Her name is Clover. But it is. She's level 53 and she's female. Her moveset was Double T, which was very useful in some circumstances. Brave Bird, Steel Wing, and Fly. The exact same moveset as Talonflame, except without Flare Blitz. 6.5 out of 10. Her main use on the team was a flyer, but she was a solid attacker. So that's all she's going to get. That's literally the definition of her entire life. Just solid. She didn't do that much. Because, while she was I love using the bird Pokemon if I like the bird. But if I don't like the bird, like Swallow, my favorite birds, I'm pretty sure, in my ranking, this should show, Talonflame, Staraptor. Swallow, decent, don't love it. And in this, definitely did love it, because she was just okay. That's all I'm going to say. Let's go to the next one. Gardevoir. First time, I need to say, somehow I used it twice, or three, considering how many times I've played on my Ruby, because I'm not sure about that. Latios, I'm not sure. I don't know if I used it in my first playthrough. Not sure I used it in my second playthrough. It might be second time. Swallow, I'm pretty sure I used that as well second time. And Gardevoir first time. I've never used the Gardevoir. Throughout all my life, I've never used one either. People say it's pretty good. So I was like, I'll give it a shot. And it took forever to find in Route 2. Or something I guess called Route 102. And her moveset, her name was Lucky, because I felt like shooting Lucky after finding her after half an hour, maybe even more, of just searching. It was very funny. She was level 51, a little bit under level, and she was female, as you can tell by me calling her a she. She had Disarming Voice, Draining Kiss, Psychic, and Magical Leaf. I gave her 7 out of 10. It was the first time using one. So, maybe I was just using her wrong. But she never was amazing. Maybe I should use her in Gen 4. Or something. I don't know. I've never felt like she was doing great. But maybe I would like to more if I was using it in a better game. By the way, we'll talk about Omega Ruby as a game later. But just say, maybe if I use it in a better game, I would have more fun using these Pokemon as a whole. Let's go on. Aggron. His name is Imor. Level 48. You can see he's only level for a good reason. And he was male. His moveset was Rock Slide, Strength, Incinerate, and Iron Head. Now, he gets crowned as the lowest ranking as a 5 out of 10. I waited so long to use an Aggron. Leyron, garbage. Aron, garbage. I never used this man. And I was thinking, maybe I should train him. But I was like, man, actually, this guy kind of sucked throughout the entire playthrough. He's going to start out every match, maybe get a lucky KO, maybe 2, and somehow he does lower than my expectations. He was garbage. He was fine outside the league, but when I went in, it was like I was using a level 30. We'll talk about level 30s later. He was trash. Useless. I might as well have been using 5 team members. I don't want to be too rude, because it might have been also my game affecting my opinion, but I don't think it was. I think this guy was just bad. I don't know why, because I know he's a little bit unleveled. Maybe he was just slow. But I could not get KOs with this guy. He was decent outside the league, but yeah, I'll tell you something. 10 out of 10s are the best, MVP guaranteed. 9 out of 10s are really, really great Pokemon. 8 is usually the starter and the second best Pokemon, or third best. 8 out of 10 is a really good Pokemon. 7 out of 10 is just decent, like Venusaur, just really decent Pokemon that I could use again, but so wasn't my favorite. And 6 out of 10 is underwhelming. For you get a 5, which Aaron, by the way, you're the only Pokemon to get a 5, you are a disappointment so much that I'm not going to use you again. You're like the Jeremy Chin. That's all I'm going to say. Let's go on. And then finally, the MVP. Lapras, his name was Wave, he was level 61. We'll explain this. And he's a male. His moves: Surf, Ice Beam, Hydro Pump, and Sheer Cold. I give him a 9 out of 10. He finally, after multiple tries, he swept Steven. And he's like, why did Steve's have to sweep? I don't know what. Maybe this was just a bad team formation, but we got crushed by Steven the first couple tries. So much that I retried the entire Elite Four, swept most of it with just Lapras, and then swept Steven with Lapras. The team just wasn't good. And you might be, you got Lapras and Omega Ruby? Yup, from Pokemon X, I grabbed that Lapras that you get early game because I had used it in this game in Pokemon X, I had Ninja. So I realized I needed a Surfer before Latios, so I grabbed this Lapras. So he got boosted XP. So much so that, first of all, it was really easy to trade him. And he was just destroying. I don't know what to say. He was so good. But I don't like sweeping from Pokemon, but we'll talk about that in a second. But Sheer Cold sweeping was very fun. Like where I could just go, send this guy out, Sheer Cold, and then hit after maybe 1 or 2 tries. Weirdly, instead of 3 or 4. But let's go on to the team rating. 6.5 out of 10. There was just so many Pokemon that I would rather just not have had on my team. There's 2. Swellow. Not rare. I'd rather have used Manectric, Minun, because I like Minun. There's just, like, when I look at Swallow, I just saw nothing. A flyer. That's it. I don't like spam, and we're not even talking about Aggron anymore. I don't like having to use one Pokemon throughout the majority of a game to the point where the other Pokemon were just kind of there. Like, Lapras carrying just wasn't very fun. Setao and Latios were okay now. Your boys Swellow over here, Gardevoir. You know, I'll give Gardevoir choose these. I don't know about giving her the same rating as Sceptile though. And Latios, pretty good Pokemon, but they're like the other guys, trash. But I will tell you guys, I don't like this game. I don't know why, but actually I do know why. It's bland. I feel like the Pokemon are very limited. I feel like there's not too many Pokemon I like in this game. And I feel like the game is... I don't know. I can't pinpoint specific points. I can name a lot of points. But I don't like Omega Ruby. It's literally... Out of all these games, I'm going to tell you... Out of all these I've ever played in Pokemon, it's my least favorite. Yep, you heard me right. I like it less than Sword and Shield, which is my second least favorite. Also, I was talking about Sword and Shield for a second. I'm sad that it wasn't that good because it was my second ever fresh Pokemon game I've ever played. As a Pokemon Sun, when I was too young to actually learn not to get my zero or 4 different moves of the same type. But, it's just disappointing. But Omega Ruby is more than disappointing. People like this game. I don't. I really don't like this game. I feel like it's the worst X. You might be thinking, oh, you just like X because it's easy. Do you like X because it's easy? Do you think I play Nuzlocke because they're easy? Exactly. But, what was I saying? I don't even remember. I don't like this game. That's basically all I have to say. It probably affected my plays of Pokemon a little bit. Also made me less enjoyable. Also, I just think the game just isn't fun. So when the game isn't fun, the Pokemon that you used in the game probably weren't that fun either. But let's get to a way better game, in my opinion. Pokemon Sun. This is at least my 6th playthrough ever. I'm not sure. I played this game so many times. I can't pinpoint a number. Especially because it's my first Pokemon game. And when I first learned to reset, I would play it, reset it, play it again. I don't know why. Because I had 2 legit shinies on my Pokemon Omega Ruby, which is a shiny Machoke, and my Pokemon Sun, which is a shiny Gold Crobat, weirdly 2 green shinies. But I did both of them. There's a lot of good memories I can talk about Pokemon Sun, but we can talk about that another time. Let's review this team. First, Ninetales, like I've talked about earlier in this video, Primarina. And he's a boy. His name is Percy, and he was level 55. He had Shadow Ball, Sparkling Aria, Hyper Voice, which I don't think I've used before on my Altarias, and Moonblast. I give him an 8 out of 10. He was way better than Sceptile. I think I just have a better time using water and fire type stars than grass type stars in general. But Moonblast was really good. I don't know. Moonblast is just really fun to use. It's just a stab Moonblast. Feel like really good. Because again, it's just a psychic, but fairy, which is a really good type, as you probably know by if you follow competitive battling or even just play Pokemon in general. Him and Greninja are very similar. I feel like there's not much to distinguish them between. They're both Pokemon that really just spammed stab attacks for big damage I used for most of the game. So there's not much to talk about. Definitely appreciate him though. ASI is what he gets. Next up, Scizor. Now you've seen how high Scizzor's been ranked. This is in total my 1.5 time using her or him. Because my first time ever using it was in Project Pokemon of all things, where it absolutely decimated Gary somehow. Even though I was a broken Project Pokemon, so he has found Pokemon was level 1 Arceus. But her name was Kizzy. Her name, she was level 63 and she was female. Her moveset, X Scissor, Night Slash, Bullet Punch, which you all probably know about Bullet Punch, and Iron Head. I give her a 10 out of 10. She was definitely the MVP of this team. As you can see, the trading boost, because yeah, it's pretty obvious that you have to trade to get a Scizor, was very helpful. I'm still using her for every single trial, at least a little bit, besides the fire trial. I love her moveset. I love it. But, I guess about Scissor, I've loved Scissor's design, so when I got to use one, I loved it even more. Like, X Scissor, very good physical stab. Night Slash, always happy winning crits. Bullet Punch, this slow Pokemon that's also really strong and really bulky, going first. And then Iron Head, which if I didn't care about going first, I just wanted the damage. Then Iron Head was very great. But just everything about him. He was like a better Talonflame. She was a better Talonflame. Just because she could hit harder. But just, I don't know, man. She didn't carry like Lapras did, though. She was very good. I used Scissor for most of the playthrough. I know I didn't use her for was like literally like before Howley City, before I traded her in. So, just really fun Pokemon, and definitely boosts it up even more. Which maybe I would even maybe say it's my second favorite, third favorite Pokemon now, but I haven't been ranking for a while. So, next up, Hariyama. First time ever using it. Also, I haven't talked about Premier. I use Premier probably about half the times I play Pokemon Sun. No, a little bit less than half. Because I play Pokemon Sun a lot. Probably more than 6 times. Because I said at least 6 times. So, probably 2 or 3 times using Premier. Actually, no, Pokemon Sun, this is only my second time. Because there's another Sun game we're going to be talking about later. Hariyama. Her name is Nia. She's level 53 and she's female. I'm not sure, but I think I want to name her Mia. But I think I should name her Nia. But whatever. Her moveset, close combat, belly drum, fake out, and break. I gave her 7 out of 10. Her moveset, pretty basic, just a strong fighting type move with drawbacks, a weaker starting type move with no drawbacks, and also the interesting combination of belly drum and fake out. I'll just fake out to one belly drum and then I never got to use belly drum that much though. But she was really good. She kind of destroyed some teams. But I feel like she was no different than Venusaur, just a Pokemon that used a bunch of stab attacks when it was strong to a Pokemon. Which is why I just guess the really good, decent 7 out of 10 rating. Good job, Hariyama. For my first time using you, you made a good impression. Next up, Arcanine. Second time using it. Last time I used it in Ultra Sun, I'm going to say. Maybe Sun. I don't know. It was one of the Sun games. Her name is Amaterasu. You can probably guess the last based off. Psychic Out Naruto is Capcom. But she was level 52, and she's female. Her move set is Wild Charge, Fire Fang, Extreme Speed, and Thief. Very weird move set. So I give her a 7.5 out of 10. Using Fire Fang was really sad because I did not have the time to give her Flamethrower. I just did have the time to use a growl for that blog. So I just loved her. She was very useful though. I love using Arcanine for the second time. Extreme Speed was just really decent move. Help me go first. Thief was really just used to wait. I don't know why I had Thief. I actually don't remember why I had Thief, but and then Wild Charge, which is good. Just a really decent moveset. I don't really know what to say about Arcanine though. Just a little bit better than decent. just better than decent, I guess. Next up, another Pokemon I've used twice in total now. Whimsicott. Actually, that's weird to say because I used a Cottony in my first Pokemon Sun Nuzlocke, and it died before it evolved into Whimsicott. I keep calling it Whimsicott, but it's Whimsicott. Like whimsical and cotton. But his name is Float. He's level 54, and he's male. His moveset was Giga Drain, Moonblast, which we've already talked about that. Hurricane, which is I had a flying stab, so this was the best I had. And Leech Seed, I gave him an 8 out of 10. He heals so much thanks to the big root. Oh my goodness, I would just plant Leech Seed with a big root and then spam Giga Drain, and even if I wasn't doing too much damage to a trial, I would still win because I was healing more than the damage they were doing. And you may not trust, there's just a lot of battles where this came into play. But it always did decent damage, and I always enjoy using fairy types, and specifically this guy. I don't remember his name last time. Whimsicott's name. There's probably a paper with my Whimsicott. I don't know. But he will always be remembered. Whimsicott's also one of my favorite ones now because of this. I don't know. I don't really know what to say. A really decent Pokemon. And this thing used competitive use. And I loved it before I knew about competitive Pokemon. I knew about Pokemon. I knew it existed. But I know much about it, okay? I didn't know it existed. Now I love competitive Pokemon. Even though I'm never going to become a competitive battle because I'm not good enough at it. I guess that's pretty obvious considering that you lose most of my fights in Pokemon Showdown. And that's nowhere near the real deal. I don't know. I've just been zoning out. Is there really anything else to say? Okay, yeah, I'm nothing. Next up, my final teammate, I think, Alola Ninetales. Her name was Kione? It's based off of god of some country or something. Greek. I don't think it was Greek. Definitely not Greek. I will prefer to fix I read Percy Jackson. Her name is Kione, level 54, female. She had extra sensory. I didn't have that many psychic type moves. I remember. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, because she didn't have psychic. I don't know why I didn't give. Him. I don't know why I didn't give Percy psychic. I'm actually kind of confused. But Dazzling Gleam, which is just okay. Famous Kyle, which she had moved last was okay. Blizzard and Ice Beam. I gave her a 7 out of 10. Another one of those just decent Pokemon that won't ever make the record books for me. But since I caught her late, after ditching my Golbat, I think it was Golbat, I'm not sure. After ditching whoever was in there, actually it might have been what's his name? Cranidos, it might have been that, I'm not sure. She's my second last type ever. even though this game came earlier in the series to the other ice type that I used. We'll talk about him later. It was really good. Pretty good. It will give pretty good. And it was a new unique Pokemon I've never used before. So it just seems I had a lot of firsts. Actually, not a lot, but yeah, actually 3 firsts. First is Orphis, first Hariyama, and first Hollow Knight House. Now it's time for a team rating. See, I've gotten a lot more positive now. Well, how many games do I have in here? Because I think I'm gonna have to split this. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Because if it is 6, then I'm gonna end it right after this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, so after this I'm done. This is the final team rating of today's episode because I am not doing this for over an hour. It's not going down like that. I used. Wait, that's a lie. I have not used all the Pokemon except for Hariyama and Ninetales. But it is a mix of new and old. It's actually a 50-50. I know I technically used Scizor and Power Pokemon, but first of all, I only played one Pokemon game by the time I played that, and I barely knew anything about Scizor. So I wasn't good at the game. I think I had like 3 Steel type. It doesn't count. It's not mainline. Or not even a spin-off. It's a Roblox game. I used all Pokemon here except for Scizor, Hariyama, and Ninetales. A good mix of new and old. Just a really fun team. The only time I struggled was against random teams. And the Fire Child. Oh my goodness. Scizor was my only really good Pokemon at that time. And I guess, yeah, and Brion. But Brion couldn't beat myself because that Slazzle and Slandic combination did massive damage with the toxic Venoshock. But I struggled with that a little bit. But we were pretty type diverse. I don't think I had any overlaps. Actually, besides Fairy. I did have a few Fairy types. 3, actually. But it's Fairy! I'm about to talk about Fairy types later, because, man, they're so good. So, like, I think that's probably the easiest type to mono run. Maybe. Because, I mean, Poison is a really hard type. I mean, there's Psychic Fairy types, but I don't know about Steel. Steel might be hard. We're not talking about that today. We're done. But I will show you. Next up, Ultra Sun, my second playthrough ever. You'll see that in the next episode. See you guys next time. This is FT, a Tornado.